massive hello to everyone listening to Lilia's Sunday podcast. This is Lilia speaking to you on a Sunday morning. I hope you're having a great Sunday morning, aren't you? And I'm now in my room with closed doors, hoping that no one will enter and ruin the podcast. Well, it's a bit like when you're left with a boyfriend in your room for the first time and your parents are at home. Obviously, don't want anyone to enter the room and ruin whatever you're doing there. Well, here I'm making this Sunday podcast. Nothing too criminal, I guess. And today we'll start talking about methods of learning. And I'm going to give you tips how to learn English better on your own. You often hear the term self-studying. So this podcast is going to be all about self-studying, right? Okay, self-studying. Is it good, right? Well, it is good. Any kind of studying is good. But what can you do to self-study better, right? Okay, what can you do to educate yourself on your own better and more efficiently, right? Okay. Right, so let's see, self-studying. Self-studying is okay for developing reading and listening skills and learning theory. You may choose to watch films in English, right? Any kinds of films, just any films you like. Listen to the radio, read English literature. You may even study grammar books. But if you don't have real life practice with real people, it won't help. I'm not really talking about teachers here. I'm not talking about groups and language schools that you may go to and try learning English there. But people you need to interact with don't have to be native speakers. Basically, they could be just anyone who can speak English, right? It'll probably be a bit better if they're a level higher than you, right? So you'll subconsciously try to reach their level. Okay. I'm basically going to give you some tips if you prefer to study on your own or have no opportunity to attend group classes or visit a private tutor. Right, so if you don't have this opportunity, but you want to learn English fast, and the only thing you could do is learn English on your own, all you need to do is listen a lot. Right, if you want to learn to speak in no time, you should listen a lot, not grammar books, just listening and reading, preferably authentic materials. Also, podcasts like this. I advise finding podcasts on the net. There are plenty of them, and listen and listen. As much time as you can, right? Listen every day. This is much better than doing grammar exercises. You learn a language to speak, don't you? Right? So listen, right? Do you remember the tips I gave you in a couple of last podcasts? Yeah? Just you need to listen a lot. At this stage, it might look like you're learning to imitate your favourite accent. You may find some info about improving your accent in episode 2 of Lilia's Sunday podcast, so please check out my website or just podomatic.com. That's liliacardenas.podomatic.com to find all the podcasts, right, all the episodes. But here, at this stage, you should listen and respond to the things you've heard, right? Okay. If you have access to a computer, it'll make things like 100 times easier. There are plenty of ways to communicate without interacting with people directly. There are chats and message boards and emails and forums, etc. Just try and find some email friends or even snail mail friends. Snail mail is when you write real letters. Just, when you write them in handwriting, and it includes pens and paper and some candles, right? Okay. Skype friends is a good idea. Communities and social networking sites created for learners of English. This is just a great idea to practice your English if you don't have a chance to go and practice it in real life. Well, naturally, people want to have a chat with a native speaker from the very beginning, but lots of native speakers, and I find this is true not only about Ukraine, but about all countries, and native speakers overall on the internet. I think they've got used to the fact that people around the world try to use them as a source of their first language, which is English. And they don't really see them as a person. that's why on websites like Interpol's or like communication like sort of thing websites, they choose either high level English speakers or speakers of English as the first language, just like they are, right? It's on different notes, it's slightly more difficult for a man to find someone to talk to than for a girl. I tried using one of those websites. Every day I got hundreds of messages from men trying to chat me up and all sort of thing, right? I couldn't physically respond to everyone. Well, at least it gives you a choice, right? Who to respond to, okay? I think everyone, I think new users probably get more messages than the older ones, right? So I recommend starting with communities like this, or something like when you have to do the language exchange, you know. This is when an American wants to study German, for instance, and they find a German person who wants to study English, and they do the exchange. It does work, believe me, right? It does work perfectly for learning a language that you're interested in. Yeah, in our case, this is English, right? It could be any language. So you can practice writing and speaking like that. Writing emails, snail mailing, right? Or emailing and speaking to people on Skype. Well, in a perfect world, right? You could meet up with a conversation group in your area. Yeah, or create one, like I said before. Right, and basically the main rule here is enjoy what you're doing and have fun with it, and then you learn English faster and more effectively than anyone else, right? Okay, great. Thanks a lot, guys, for listening to this episode of Lilia's Sunday podcast. Again, it's a little bit shorter than the first podcast that I posted up a couple of weeks ago, right? Yeah, great. Have a lovely weekend, which is... So only one day of the weekend is left, right? Just spend it in the best possible way, and I'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye-bye, guys.